Hey guys, Chad here with the Reptile Rangers. Hey, check this out. We're at the Carnesville Reptile Zoo today, and we're here with this big, beautiful lizard called the iguana. Now, the iguana is a large-bodied herbivorous lizard. These guys range from Central, South America, Mexico, even Miami now, and southern Florida. But their actual natural home range is anywhere from Mexico to South America. Now, these guys right here are absolutely amazing, beautiful, beautiful animals. Now, they're in the order of Squamata for all you science nerds out there. Now, remember, we said these guys are primarily herbivorous, meaning they eat mostly plants and fruits. However, they have been known to eat insects and mice, and they've even been caught eating eggs, bird eggs, and things like that, and other types of meat products. But their primary diet is eating a bunch of leafy greens and different fruits and vegetables. These amazing animals come in all different colors. In the wild, you don't typically find the colors much other than the green iguana, maybe a nice red iguana. But here in captivity, and here recently over the past few years, there have been these like this beautiful orange iguana. We have red iguanas, green iguanas, blue iguanas, albino iguanas. There's all different colors of iguanas now. These guys come in all different forms of colors, and like this guy right here is just amazingly beautiful. That orange that comes off of him, it looks like a big old tangerine, this is an incredible color. I've only ever seen a few that was quite this deeply orange. But this guy right here is one of our zoo animals. He's on exhibit at the zoo here, and this is an amazingly beautiful iguana. Now, one way to tell the difference between male and female in these guys is check this out. See, males are going to have these really what we call jaws, big, fat jaws. Females are going to be more streamlined, more dainty looking. Now, they're going to have these fat knobs. The males have the fat knobs on top of the head, as well as like on the inner thigh here. If you can see right here on the inner thigh, you see these big bumps? These are called the femoral pores. Only the males have those as well. Now, that's one way to be able to tell, three different ways to be able to tell the difference between male and female inside of the iguana species is between the fat knobs, the fat jaws, and the femoral pores on a male, where there's the lack of the fat knobs, very dainty looking neck, and no femoral pores on the female. Let's talk a little bit of anatomy on the iguanas. Some really cool things that stand the iguana out from other lizards. First, on these jaws that we were just talking about for sexual differential, or being able to determine the difference between sexes, right here on the jaws is this big fat looking scale. That's called the subtympanic scale. Now, some researchers believe that the point for this is when this dewlap comes out, which we'll talk about here in just a second. This dewlap comes out when these guys feel threatened, and they throw the dewlap out and cock their head sideways. And it's believed that this is meant to be like an eye deterrent. It causes a predator to go towards here instead of towards the eyes. Is there any real known reason for this particular scale? Not really. We still don't fully know the reasons behind it, but we do know that and believe that that's part of one of the reasons. One thing is it's decorative, and also the bigger the jaws, the bigger and the more dominant the male is. And then you have this right here that very well could be that second eye, as it were, for bringing a predator down here instead of directly to his eyes. Now, another piece to the iguana's anatomy is what we call a partial third eye, or the third eye on top of the iguana's head. There's a little diamond or crystal looking appendage right there in the center of the top of the iguana's skull. Now, one of the functions behind this is believed to be when shadowing goes over top of the head of the iguana. For example, a bird of prey coming over, it would register that bird of prey coming over the top of it. It will give him that inclination, or give him that warning that something may be coming over to predate on him. Now, another piece to this guy's anatomy is his dewlap. All right, the key functions behind this piece of material attached to his body right here is really cool. One is for dominant display. All right, when a male comes up and he sees another male, he's going to start bobbing that head. He's going to throw that dewlap out. He's going to make himself look as big as he can make himself look, and that's one reason for the dewlap. Now, another one, as he's throwing that head up, he's like, "What's up, girl? What's up, girl?" And he's trying to look nice and sexy for the females. And so the nicer that dewlap, the bigger that dewlap, the sexier he looks. And so that's the two functions for the dewlap: is one for dominance, trying to bluff another male into leaving him alone and or going out of his territory, and then the other one is for attracting a female. Now, another part of their anatomy, but also going into these guys being kept as pets, these animals are absolutely amazing, but they are not and do not always make the best pet. Even though they're readily available, even though they're easy to come across, even though a lot of the times they're cheap, they are not necessarily the best pet. Now, these guys have amazingly sharp teeth. They have teeth that's triangular shaped, they're serrated, they're curved backwards, a lot like a shark, and they can do a lot of damage, and they do a lot of damage to humans. These guys right here have one of the highest testosterone levels outside of sharks. So when these guys, when the males hit maturity, and they hit their sexual maturity and they're ready to breed and they hit a 3 to 4 month breeding season, these guys go absolutely crazy sometimes. Now, it's not always, and this doesn't make these animals bad animals. They're not bad animals. They're out here to do a job. They're out here to do something in nature, to keep a part of nature in balance. But that does not always mean that these make the greatest pets. A lot of people will come into the zoo and they're like, man, I wanted an iguana. I seen they was able to put them on their shoulder and put them on this leash and harness and walk them. That is a real rarity. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of patience, and it takes a lot of love from the human to the animal, because the animal doesn't love us, but a lot of love from the human to the animal, and a lot of time and patience for these people to be able to get these big, massive 5 and 6 footers to doing that. These animals can be unpredictable. Again, remember, when these animals hit maturity and they hit sexual maturity, their testosterone level just shoots through the roof during mating season. They just don't care. They just want to breed. And so you need to be very, very aware and very cognitive. And captivity and housing and ecosystem and the way that they're kept makes a big difference in how these animals' attitude fare as well. Teaching them that bad behavior is not acceptable, meaning when they mouth gape or they tail whip, people tend to put them down or set them back in their cage, and you just taught it that I can get away with that. It's not about beating it, it's not about doing anything else either, but it's about being able to not let him get away with the foolishness that he does, but know that you're not going to hurt him in the same sense. Now, that's the iguana. These animals are amazing, they're beautiful. Hope this has helped. And again, come check us out, reptilerangers.tv, or on the YouTube channel at Reptile Rangers TV.